All right, we are getting started. Perfect. Just want to make sure everything's getting recorded. I know that's a big ask from everyone. Welcome everyone to today's product club. I see we have some people trickling in. As always, please take a minute to jump in our chat, say hello, share who you are. We also have a great little bonus question in that yellow box in the right-hand corner there. We are collecting some questions for our big leadership team around our roadmap. So if you've had a burning question around our product roadmap, please add your question in the chat as well. See, we have quite the group coming in. We're going to give it a few minutes for everyone to join. Again, as you are joining, we'd love to hear who you are, where you're coming from. If you can share a quick intro in the chat, that would be wonderful. Thank you, Christina, for kicking us off as always. From Chicago, we'd love to see where everyone's hailing from. Poland, Dallas, Las Vegas. I'm going to be in Las Vegas next week. Here it's very warm right now. Fort Wayne. Got quite the representation. Another Chicago, great. Thank you all for jumping in with your intros. Dallas. Wonderful. Again, as you are joining us, I know we continue to have some people join us. Please go ahead and say hello in our chat. Share a little bit about who you are, where you're coming from. I also want to offer up the opportunity for you guys to add some questions around our roadmap. I have a little bit of a teaser to share about our June product club. So want to jump the gun there and have you guys share a little bit about the questions you have around our roadmap. Too Hot, Arizona. I love that. Danielle, thank you. Hello. I know we've been chatting via email. It's great to see you here. Eileen, welcome Senegal. Wonderful. It's so great to have you today. We have quite the representation. We are global today, as always. This is wonderful. All right, I'm going to give it just another minute or two for everyone to jump on. Again, thank you for sharing your introductions. As you're sharing your introductions, just a few updates that I want to share in the Pathfinder universe. We have lots and lots going on right now. We have a new .32 Delta training that's been released. If you're not familiar, we are sharing new training. It's hands-on, that is release related. This is going to give you all the insights around our latest release, so highly encourage you to explore that training. Lots and lots of great goodness there. We have some new swag packs. So I do want to make sure everyone gets this update. So I'm going to wait a minute and I will circle back on this update to share. I also want to flag that we have a developer meetup coming up on the 30th around code analysis and debugging tools. And just a quick reminder on our developer meetups, these are very much in-depth, deep dives. It's a great opportunity to see some use cases in action. So product club being your intro, your opportunity to provide feedback, and our developer meetups, the opportunity to go even deeper with some of our great developer evangelists on our team. So highly, highly encourage you to attend that session as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and also share the links for these updates so you guys have them handy as well. Recommend copying those and exploring those different links. I also want to flag we have a new product club dedicated page on our community, so that links there as well. That's where all of our recaps will be from our previous sessions too. All right, as we continue to have some people jump in, I do want to make sure we don't waste any time. We have some really, really great things to cover. I do want to touch just really quickly on the swag packs. Oh, Daniel, I just saw your, can you share the link? It's going to be in those links I just shared, and I know it gets a little tricky as people are logging in, so I'll just reshare those links really quickly. And you guys can let me know if you see those links. If not, I'll share them again at the end. All right, swag packs. So we are offering swag packs to our community. And how do you earn a swag pack? Attending events like Product Club and being an active contributor. And what do we mean by active contributor? There's a great little Q&A box that we all are very familiar with. Add your questions to that Q&A box, and that makes you eligible for one of our swag packs. We'll give several out throughout each of our meetings. I'll follow up via email to let you know if you have won one. So if you're interested and getting a community swag pack, use that Q&A box. Q&A is open now. So if you have any initial burning questions about Connector Builder, go ahead and start adding them in there. We have a great team of experts today that are joining us. All right, without further ado, just some quick Product Club specific reminders. I do want to flag our June meeting is going to be very different. We are doing and hosting a session called Product Club Live at Imagine. We will have some of our senior product leadership team on hand to talk about our roadmap and answer your roadmap questions. As I mentioned, if you have any roadmap questions that you would like to see answered, please add them to the chat and I'll make sure that they get shared during this session as well. Just a few quick reminders, sessions are recorded and I have taken your feedback to heart. So I am now and have started an email series that I send out after each meeting that has the link to the recording. You all should have received it. If you did not receive that email, let me know and we can make sure that you get added to the email list. Recordings are also accessible via the community too. So you have lots of different ways that you can access the great content we share. Another reminder, we have Q&A. Please use the Q&A section for all Connector Builder related questions today. And let's use the chat for more collaboration. It's just really helpful, especially for our experts here today, to be able to have questions in one spot. So thank you so much for helping us with that. And then my favorite, feedback is a gift. I am so appreciative to all of you. As I mentioned, your feedback is taken to heart and we are putting it into action. So thank you to everyone that's been taking the time to fill out that quick survey at the end of our sessions as well. All right, I know that was a slew of updates for today. It's been busy in our Pathfinder universe. It's really exciting times. But without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get to meet our panel of experts today because we have a really exciting twist in Product Club today, and we are welcoming our engineering leadership team to the conversation as well, critical partners in our product development process. So I want to spend a little bit of time getting to know them. You've all had the opportunity to meet Vineet, but he's going to chime in from time to time as well. So let's go ahead and kick it off with our leader sizzle. It's not product leader, our leader sizzle. So I have a few questions just so we can get to know you both. Charu, I'm going to start with you, and then we'll ping pong over to Sarang. What is your current role at Automation Anywhere? Can you tell us just a quick bit?
Yeah, definitely. So I am the Senior Director at Automation Anywhere, and I've been here for 5 years now. And I take care of a few different products and features. Copilot is one of them, cloud services like licensing and provisioning, and then also a few command packages.
Oh, Sarang, go for it. Sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah, thanks, Charu. So I go by the name Sarang. I'm a director of engineering, and I've been with Automation Anywhere for last 5.5 years. I started my journey here with Command Factory team, and now I am the engineering lead for Copilot. That includes the web and desktop integration, and now Connector Builder, for which we are having this session.
Perfect. All right. One of my favorite questions to ask. When you were young, what did you want to be when you grew up? What was that dream job that you had? Sarang, I'm going to start with you. We're going to switch it up.
Yeah, as far as I remember, I don't think I ever had a dream job, but I wanted to be an engineer, not necessarily a software engineer. I ended up being one, but I wanted to be an engineer.
Charu?
See, I come from a family of teachers, so for a while there, I thought I was going to be a teacher. But in high school, when I think I got introduced to my first computer in the lab, I said, I want to do computer science, and that's what I did.
I love that. I'm actually a former teacher, so teachers have a special place in my heart as well.
Great.
And I feel like you get to be a teacher through your job as well, too. So I'm sure you've gained a lot of skills from them. All right. What is the best piece of career advice you've ever received? If you were to say it in a simple sentence. Charu, I'm going to go with you.
Sure. See, there's a lot of good advice. One that I think is worth sharing is always be proactive about stepping out of your comfort zone, because that's where the growth is. So if you're scared to do something, you should go for it. and you learn along the way, because in our job especially, right, learning is the key thing that differentiates us from a lot of other fields. That's what I would say.
I love that. Strong?
I've got many advices, but one thing that has stuck with me is invest in learning.
Learning. So
Which,
important.
yeah, which is important, but I realized the value of it little late, but that's something stuck with me. Yeah.
I love that. All right, so now is our fun break, and this is an audience question as well. I want to see, especially with our global audience, what the answer to this question is. So, what's your favorite movie? And if you're not a big movie person, what's your favorite book? Sarang, I'm going to start with you. And let's add to the chat. So, audience, I want to see, what are your favorite movies or books?
I don't have a permanent favorite movie, but if I if I want to think of the movies that I've watched recently, it's basically a Bollywood movie called 12th Fail. It's basically journey of an underprivileged kid to become the highest civil servant in India. So it's basically a Bollywood Hindi movie. I liked it from the recent movies that I watched.
Love that. All right, Sharu, you're up.
I love the responses on chat, by the way. So I'm not going to go with the movie. I'll go with the series. There is a BBC version of Pride and Prejudice.
Ah.
I think it's one of my favorites. Just the way the screenplay, the music, the dialogues, everything come together. It's one of the things we watch as a family. We watch it maybe 3 to 5 times. And books I have lots, but a few that I keep talking to people about and evangelizing, because I think they really made an impact. One is 7 Habits of Most Effective People, and the other is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Both these books are great books for everyone to pick something up.
I remember those books from the university days. Definitely. They were the big reads at the time. And I'm also a Pride and Prejudice fan. We may need to connect
Awesome.
over
We
coffee
should
one of these
connect.
days.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Perfect. Well, without further ado, Vineet, I know you wanted to have a bit of a conversation with our engineering team to talk about and introduce Connector Builder. As he starts that off, I'm going to go ahead and also start our poll questions. So we have our first poll question of the day that's also coming up. So Vineet, I'm handing the mic over to you.
Thank you so much, Allison, and excited to see more than 100 folks on this webinar. Thank you all so much. Now, I know all of you are excited to know about the Connector Builder feature that's being released in 8.32 release. And I'll give you a second to answer this poll question. But I quickly wanted to start off the conversation about Connector Builder. And as you already met Sarang and Charu, our engineering leadership here at Automation Anywhere, I would like to ask Sarang first. Sarang, we see most companies today are moving towards SaaS-based utilities. It could be SaaS-based ERPs, CRMs, and other software. As companies do this, they always have a need to transfer data from their internal applications to these SaaS applications. How do you see these companies, doing that, and how do we, as Automation Anywhere, enable them to transfer data or to move data between their apps and these SaaS apps in no time?
Yes, so I think an important part of your product strategy is always to define, how you are going to be consumed, as well as how you are going to consume other products, right? So basically defining your eyes and ears are very important, and that is done through APIs in technical terms, right? So there are, various standards of APIs, and REST being one of the popular ones, and all SaaS products that we see have a REST suite. So, if you try and build a different connector strategy for each of these API specs, your life is going to be hell, right? So the way that, we have done it in Connector Builder, leveraging the standardization that REST provides, masking the problems or complexities of Java programming language, exploring APIs, exploring REST client libraries, worrying about security vulnerabilities, worrying about build tools, worrying about maintaining the API versions, or masking the problems of request response translation, etc. Wherein Connector Builder that can help customers and users to build A360 native connectors, which you can use in both task automation as well as API task automation. And you can basically create these connectors through a no-code tool. Only if you have a Swagger specification or a Postman collection, you don't really need to know more about APIs than just, get your hands onto this Swagger specification, and this tool will do the job for you in a minute. So, every product has a similar strategy, although we don't have anything different, but then this is going to add immense value and acceleration to our API strategy.
Yeah, great answer, Sarang. I completely agree. Customers need a tool to build connectors rapidly and with as less coding as possible. And that's what we are enabling through Connector Builder today. Thank you for the answer. Charu, I'd like to ask you about, how do you look at Connector Builder as a tool and our partners? How can our partners, use this tool to the best of their benefit in terms of catering to different use cases for their customers?
Absolutely. So, see, API service is something that we have provided at a framework level, right? Now, every feature that we do or every foundational change that you make needs a killer app. So, I like to think of Connector Builder as a killer app for our API service, right? And then, given what our platform is, we are a domain agnostic platform. We can go across all the verticals. So, and customers have always shown us, right, that they can think of the most imaginative use cases. They can think of scenarios that maybe, we as a product development team may not think of things end to end. So I'm going to keep the answer very broad and say, right, it can be a very, very diverse set of use cases. It can be a very diverse set of applications. It's only limited by somebody's imagination, right? But at the core, it's going to give you a capability to connect outside our platform to the external SaaS world, which is expanding as we speak, right? Expanding and exploding as we speak, and then consume that in a way that, as Sarang was saying, doesn't require you to write a lot of code. And we'll give you this kind of a guided way of developing a package, which will be signed by us, that you can use and go ahead and leverage it in whatever scenario.
Absolutely, Charu. I love the fact that partners can build any sort of connectors. It's just limited by their imagination. So that's a great answer. Thank you for that. Now, I think let's start the demo of the Connector Builder, the thing that you've been waiting for all along. And there's the second poll question. I'll give you all a second to answer that.
Yes, and as you guys are answering that poll question and we switch over to the demo, thank you again. Just a quick reminder on the polls. These insights are shared with not only Vineet, who is developing this product, but our product team as a whole. I have a series that I share with them consistently. So please do take the time to share your responses. They are very, very helpful in us helping us make decisions for future development as well. And then another quick reminder, Q&A is open. Thank you for those that have already jumped in and started asking questions, but please feel free to add additional questions at any time too. All right, back to you, Vineet.
Thanks, Allison. Well, you all know what Connector Builder is, but let me summarize it quickly. Connector Builder is a tool that allows you to create connector packages in minutes, and then you can download these packages. You can use those packages in your automations, be it bots or be it API tasks, and then you can run those automations in no time. So that's what Connector Builder offers. It's a low-code, no-code tool. You can build packages rapidly, and you can reuse and distribute those packages across your community or your internal organization. Connector Builder is available on cloud starting release 32, and very soon it will be made available on premises as well. However, don't be disappointed. The connectors or the connector packages that you create on the cloud control rooms, the packages can be uploaded to an on-premise instance as well. So it's just that you need to download the connector package from the cloud control room and then upload it to an on-prem control room. You can also upload it to our bot store and share your good work with the community. And that's possible as well. And connector packages, the journey for creating connector packages is pretty simple. You log into the control room, you go to the package manager page. There's a new permission we've introduced as part of this tool. It's called create, edit, custom connector packages. So once you assign this permission to yourself, you will see the connector option in your control room, which I'm going to demo just after this slide. Then you define your connector, you publish the connector to the control room, and then you can start building bots or API tasks using that connector package. Now, I'm using the word connector package because a package is the core component of any automation in Automation Anywhere. And packages can be classified into a couple of buckets. One of the buckets could be connectors, which allows you to connect different products together. Another bucket could be data transformation packages that allow you to modify data, transform data, massage data, and format data. Right? Though examples could be JSON package, XML package, Python package, etc. You also have programming related packages. Examples could be the loop package, the if package, the error handler package. So all of these are related to programming. I am using the word connector package because these packages cater to a specific purpose, which is they connect two applications together. One of them is A360, which happens to be the native app with which you connect the provider app. It could be Salesforce, ServiceNow, Workday, Box, Dropbox, any SaaS application, or even any application that has exposed an API can be created as a package, and that can be run natively on our platform. All right, let's go to the control room now. So if you see this page, I'm logged into my control room, and then I go to manage, and then I navigate to the packages page. Now, this is the place where you would see this option called create connector. You would also see a new tab here called connectors. Now, this tab stores those connectors that are currently in draft state, meaning this serves as a private workspace for you for those connector packages that are still work in progress. Once you are confident about these packages, you can actually come here and say publish package, which actually pushes this package from your private workspace to the control room. And then this package here called Cerner will be available in the bot editor and the API task editor for usage. All right, let's kickstart the connector building process. I'll click on create connector to get started. For today's demo, I'm going to create a connector for HubSpot. As you know, HubSpot is a very popular CRM and marketing automation tool. Now, in order to create the HubSpot connector, I need something called the API definition because I want to import all of HubSpot's operations into my HubSpot package. So what I typically do is you go to the developer portal for HubSpot, developer.hubspot.com, and then you download the API definition for the HubSpot API reference, right? So that API definition is available. It's open source. You can download it and you can save it on your local machine. Now, I have done all of that just to save some time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just name the HubSpot package, and let me name it as HubSpot package 101. And then I can optionally give a description, but I'm going to skip this for now because when I import the API definition, the description will also be imported automatically. So when we open the HubSpot package in the bot editor, you will see that a description appears automatically, and I'll show you that in a moment. Now, the third field here is called connector type. Now, the connector builder supports only REST based API frameworks today. We look forward to supporting additional API frameworks like GraphQL in a future release. But for now, we only support REST. And this is based on our research, which is more than 70% of modern applications expose their REST APIs, which comply with the Open API specification or standards. So for now, you can import any API definition that follows the Open API specification standards. Now, I can give a base URL for my package here, which is acme.hubspot.com. This can be changed later based on the actual HubSpot instance name for your HubSpot instance. I'm going to click create, and what happens is a draft HubSpot connector package is created for you. And now you will see something called the connector editor page. So on this page, you can actually define your connector package actions. You can define them manually. There's multiple ways to do that. Like I mentioned, you can always import an API definition. You can add actions manually, right? And then you can also upload a logo for your package. This logo is displayed in your bot editor and API task editor. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this import API definition, and I can import an Open API definition file that's located on my local machine. I can import it from a URL if it's publicly available. I can also import a Postman collection if I've already saved my collection in my Postman. Right? So for this demo, I have saved the API definition file. I will browse and select it, which happens to be this one here. So let me actually open it up and show that to you quickly here. So this is the API definition file that I've downloaded from the HubSpot developer portal. As you can see, this API definition contains multiple objects. It contains parameters. It contains the endpoint paths. It contains various request headers, response objects, etc. Right? Now, if I scroll all the way to the bottom of this file, you see that there's more than 28,000 lines, right? That's because this file contains all the operations that HubSpot supports on their platform, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to import this file here by selecting it here and say import. Now, I'd like you to notice this actions pane here the moment I click on import. As you can see, there's a lot of actions being populated automatically here. So what just happened was the moment I clicked on import, the connector builder smartly parsed through the entire file, all of those 28,000 plus lines, and it has extracted these actions automatically. The authentication type happens to be an API key-based authentication with the header name as authorization. It doesn't have any prefix. If we look at some of the other actions here, for example, create a company, right? Create a company is a post HTTP method with this endpoint. And then notice here that we automatically generate the full URL for this action, which means the full URL is api.hubapi.com. Remember, I had given my base URL as acme.hubspot.com, but the API definition contains this one as the base URL. So it has smartly overwritten that and given you a full URL here, right? Now, this action does not have any request parameters. It happens to have two request headers. These have been automatically populated based on the API definition. Now, if we go on to the request body, you will see that there's a couple of properties here. There's associations, and then there is properties, right? These have also been automatically, generated by the connector builder tool. And as you can see, there's response as well. Now, the response attributes that this action returns, there's about 8 attributes. And you as a connector builder can actually map how do you consume these response attributes inside of your automation. The automation could be a bot or an API task. Now, the attribute which is named as created at, you can actually provide a label for it. Now, this label will be visible in the bot editor, created at date time. So if I mention this name here, now you will, when you open up this package action in the bot editor, you will see a response attribute called created at date time. And when you run the bot, this key will be automatically mapped to this field, and you can actually use that field and pass it over to the next action in your bot, or your next step in your bot. Right? So that's the beauty of connector builder. No matter how big the response object is, connector builder parses through each of the elements, right from the root element, it goes all the way to the leaf element. It brings about all of those attributes, in a flat schema, so that you as the developer can easily consume and map these attributes in your automations. Now, one of the pain points that we typically see developers go through while building a package using the SDK is they have to map the request and response for all of these actions manually, meaning they have to write Java code to parse these request body, request response body, and extract the attributes they are interested in. Now, all that effort has been made simple for you. It just becomes a matter of mapping the attributes rather than parsing the object, writing code, and then looping, and then spending a lot of days to make sure your response object is correct, right? So that's the benefit that you get using a connector builder. Now, I want to move ahead, right? So we have imported quite a few actions here. Now, what I want to do is I want to save this, and then I want to publish this package using this publish action here, right? So I'll click on publish. And when you publish, the version is automatically maintained for you. We use semantic versioning to auto increment the major, minor, and patch components upon subsequent version updates. So I'll click publish. At this point, you can see that the status has changed to publishing. And if you notice here, this package has 189 actions. Wow, that's quite a lot, right? That's because we have imported everything from the API definition file. Now, if you wanted, you could delete some of those actions if you don't need some of those HubSpot endpoints in your scenario, right? Let me refresh here. The record here has disappeared and it has moved to the published page, right? If I search for HubSpot. So this is the package that was just published just now, right? And then you can also know that the package was published successfully by going to the alert section here. You'll get a notification here that says HubSpot package 101 is now available. What that means is if I go over to my automation workspace and let's say create either a task bot or an API task, you will be able to see this package there. Let me create a bot, and then let's search for the HubSpot package here. There we go. This is the HubSpot package 101 that we just published. And as you can see, all of those actions are available here for you to configure. Now you can use these actions, configure them, and then start running your bots. So as you can see here, you can configure all of these actions the way you've been used to, like the way you build bots. And then you can save this and you can run the bot. So that's what Connector Builder does for you. rapidly build packages and start using them in your automations, right? I'll just give you a second here to answer the other poll question that's flashed on your screen.
And Vineet, as we're getting some feedback on that question, which is really important, one of the trending questions as we've been getting in our product club, can you just clarify again who has access to this? I know that there's some questions about when on-prem customers will have the ability to do that. I know you covered that. I just want to make sure we emphasize that point because I know that's a question that keeps coming up.
Absolutely. Sure, Alison. So in terms of accessing the connector builder, all you need is a bot creator license. If you have a bot creator license, and if you have the permission that I mentioned earlier, which is create/edit custom connector packages, then when you head over to your package manager page, which is go to manage and then go to package, then you will see this create connector option. That's all there is. You just need the bot creator license and then the create connector permission. These are the only two prerequisites for you to start building connector packages.
All right, and to clarify too, because Christina had flagged this, she said, I tried our production control room, updated the developer role with the create package access, but we didn't see the create connector option on manage packages page. Is there a difference license required or a user needs a specific role? And I know we had a response from one of our AA Automation Anywhere team members mentioning the enterprise license. So can we clarify that just further?
Absolutely. Thanks for reminding that. Also, I forgot to mention this feature is available only on our enterprise license. So if you have the enterprise license installed on your control room, then you just need the bot creator license and the permission that I spoke about. So these are the only three prerequisites for accessing the feature.
Perfect. And I just launched another poll because some of our other questions are around a lot of the roadmap pieces and parts that we've been talking about too. This roadmap question, if you're going to answer any of the poll questions, this is the one to take the minute to answer. We want to get your votes on what you think is most important to consider as we're thinking about the next features to develop around connector builder. So please take a minute to add your response there. Super, super helpful in us better understanding what you'd like to see as that's on the top of your wish list as well. Vineet, before we go into any more questions, was there anything else you wanted to make sure to demo? I want to make sure we don't cut that off.
Sure. I just wanted to show how you can download the package that we've just published, right?
Perfect. Let's go ahead and do that as people wrap up this poll question, and then we'll answer the rest of the questions we have in the Q&A too.
So you go over to the published tab, and then you find the package that you've published. And then in this case, HubSpot package 101 is the package that I want to download. So I go over to these three dots here and I say download. What that does is it starts downloading the package jar right in your browser. And you get this little prompt here that says package will be downloaded shortly, and then the progress can be monitored in the browser, right? So that's a simple way to download package. Once you have the jar, you can upload the package jar in any other control room, or you can share it with your fellow developers internally. You can also share it with your community share it with our community in the bot store as well.
All right. Perfect. If we want to go ahead and take that off, we can have our other experts join us. And then let's get through some of these additional questions. I want to make sure everyone gets the answers that they need to. All right. So Vineet, if you don't mind stopping to share your screen so we can see you.
Sure.
All right. Sarang, I know you've been monitoring the chat with me. Is there anything that's you've seen kind of be repetitively asked or something that you really want to make sure is emphasized as well? I know you were in there answering a few of those questions.
Yeah, I think you picked it from Q&A. Most of the questions are about the licensing as well as whether it is available on-prem or cloud. So it's available in the Enterprise Plus SKU, and it's available right now only for the cloud. So that's the answer. The other questions I saw, there are some ask for GraphQL support, and there were other questions about being able to map a complex request response JSON. So all those have been answered by Vipul very actively in this forum, as well as by myself. Yeah, I think that's it, Alison.
Okay, I'm going to go through just a few just so we can answer them live, and Vineet, we can get your opinion on them as well. So one of them was we tried using Connector Builder, unable to use Auth 2.0, authorization and bearer values are getting vanished. Is it a bug from the product? Are there any alternatives we can use, or just wait till next release?
That is fixed in
Yes.
Fixed bug.
30.
It's coming. Yeah.
It's a fixed bug.
So it is fixed, and it says that it's fixed. And if you're still having that behavior, definitely reach out to the support team so we can figure out what may be going on. All right, Craig asked, how does the connectors feature supplement the APG integration? Vineet, any thoughts on that?
Well, the existing APG integration package that we have allows you to discover, integrations on APG, configure them, and run your integrations directly from Automation 360. Now, in case APG exposes a few additional integrations or additional, processes on their side, we can use the connector builder, and in conjunction with the APG's API definition, we could create those new packages for the new features that APG has launched. So I would say connector builder improves or makes you independent to build any new features that APG exposes on your own.
It basically complements your APG.
Perfect. All right. Let's go ahead. The next one. So somebody mentioned, and I just want to make sure we touch on this because this is oftentimes a question that comes up, UiPath versus. The question was, can you show us how the below works? Can we see a response to the API live when building connector builder like UiPath, just a click away to see API action works or not instead of testing after publish? Just want to be sure we clarify that.
Yeah, great question. And I think this covers the developer productivity aspect as well. Instead of having the developer to test the API and watch the response in a tool like Postman, how about having the feature native as part of Connector Builder? We've heard you, and we are launching this feature in the 8.33 release, where you will be able to test your APIs, watch the response, including the response code, the response body, inside of the connector builder experience itself. So yes, it's coming.
All right, another roadmap related question. We're getting some great roadmap questions here, Vineet. I think this is going to really help you out. Does the connector builder support APIs with cookie-based authentication?
Not at the moment. It doesn't.
Is that something under consideration? Something that maybe you could use some more feedback around? What are you guys thinking around that?
Yeah, I think
I think feedback would be great. Go ahead.
Yeah, being able to store the session information in cookies and being able to pass that information to the subsequent actions in an automation is actually quite a good feature to have. But I'd like to do some more research, and if it's okay, reach out to the person posted the question and understand their actual use case, so that if it's an important use case, we'll definitely add it in the roadmap.
All right, perfect. We'll definitely connect you both. Are there size constraints on the API definition file?
No, there's no such constraints. As you just saw, I imported a 30,000 line file in no time. So I think we've tested it with our benchmarks are pretty high. So there's no constraint.
All right, and we're also getting a lot of questions about asking for people to share the different resources you used today. So we'll make sure we include that in the recap. I think that will be helpful so people can experiment themselves and see how this works. A good question here. I know the answer to this, but we got to answer it. Is this feature existing on Community Edition? Can somebody go on Community Edition and experiment with this?
No, the answer is no, unfortunately, but we should consider it for a future time.
Yeah, and if you ever hit a roadblock like that, definitely reach out to your account team as well. I'm sure they'd be willing to work with you to make sure that you can get some access in a sandbox or another place to experiment. Please, please, please use your account team. They're your partners in success and they want to make you successful. So if you hit one of those roadblocks, reach out to them and they can help you navigate that and make sure you get the information or hands-on needs that you have too. All right. We have another question here. Can users with the necessary permission edit all created connector packages or only the ones they originally created?
Yes, users with the right permissions can edit all of the connector packages that other users would have created in the control room.
All right, perfect. And Craig actually provided some great feedback on that. So Vineet will make sure you get that as well. Let's see, going through here. Is there separate error handling structure in connectors?
I would go ahead,
is
Sarang.
error handling is standardized, whether they are client side errors or server side errors, right? So you don't need to worry about, had you been building your custom connector, you would have to worry about this, but those are all taken care based on the REST error standards. They're all error code based basically.
Perfect. A similar question, is it a similar import-export routine for these packages?
Yeah, just like how I demoed it, it's even simpler than exporting automations. You directly locate your connector package and you just hit the download button and the download starts.
All right. So we actually have a little bit of a teaser question here, but I want to ask, out of curiosity, will Automation Anywhere be using this for creating their own supported packages going forward? Any comment?
That we will not be able to answer here maybe.
Vineet has to answer.
My recommendation is to stay tuned. We have a lot of exciting announcements that are especially going to be made at Imagine. So lots of exciting things in the works. So stay tuned and we'll be sure to be able to provide an update on that specific question when we can.
Yeah, I just want to answer that question, Allison. So I have been building a lot of connectors over the last few days. I love the tool and I love playing with it. I've been encouraging all of my colleagues and some of the MVPs, most valuable pathfinders of our platform. They love it. So if there is something that can be built using Connector Builder, for sure we will use it to release out-of-box packages.
Yeah, and I want to add something as well, and I'd be curious to get your guys' take in the chat. We do have a bot store. Bot store is something that we are looking at evolving and growing. I'd be curious to hear from you all what you'd like to see in bot store as well. That's another great place to access different packages, especially ones that have been created by our community to support your automation success. So if you have any feedback, if you've had experience with bot store and there's things that you'd like to see happen to bot store, please share that feedback in the chat. I'll be able to take that back to our team, especially the ones that are working on our bot store piece too. It's another tool that you can use. All right. I do have a question about the session recordings. Every session is recorded. It is housed in our community platform. We have a dedicated product club page that you can access. Go up to the top nav and it will be on the right-hand side there. I also will be sending out emails after each meeting that include the link to the recording as well. So if you don't receive those emails, feel free to reach out to me directly, allison.abel@automationanywhere.com, and we'll make sure you get added to that email list too. All right. One of the last questions we have, any limitations working in a GCCH versus commercial environment? Anybody want to take a stab?
See, I can tell you typically because there are additional restrictions on GCP, calls tend to have more constraints. That said, as of now, we have not formally tested this on a GCP environment. There is definitely an organizational level plan to qualify all our products on that kind of, high secure gov kind of environment, but it's not something that's imminent in the next release. It's probably slightly long.
Perfect. All right, thank you everyone for all of these great questions. Super helpful, as I mentioned, for all of us to get them and understand what questions and things you'd like to see. Vineet, any last thoughts, things that you want to mention, make sure are emphasized as we end our session today?
Um, sure. And before that, I'd just like to answer one of the questions asked by Sunil Kumar. The question is,
Okay.
how can I get API definition for ServiceNow? And this question stands
Okay.
for all the other SaaS applications as well. For ServiceNow, obviously, we do have a out-of-box package, but Connector Builder is a great use case for building those connector packages for which are even supported out of box, right? Customers might want to increase or enhance the number of actions, or they might want to build something which is very specific to their own infrastructure. So Connector Builder allows you to do that. Now, the best place to get these API definition files is the respective developer portals of these API providers. So for ServiceNow, it would be developer.servicenow hub. For Atlassian or Jira or Confluence, it would be Atlassian developer portal, and so on. Just as a additional giveaway, I will provide a link to one of these files or some of these files as a follow-up to Allison later. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, let's share some of that so people can explore and experiment as they're looking at use cases here. All right. Thank you everyone again for all of your time. Thank you to all of our experts for joining us today. Thank you, Sarang and Charu, for joining us, giving us that engineering perspective. It's really, really helpful. I definitely appreciate your insights. As I mentioned, we will share this recording when it goes live on YouTube, which should be in the next day or two, and then I'll start to communicate out that link. And then I will also keep the group in the loop on Product Club Live at Imagine in June. We do hope to be able to stream that, but we're not 100% sure if we'll be able to. Either way, a recording will definitely be made of that session and shared out. And then we'll resume our normal planned activities in July. And we have a really exciting topic for July, which I can't share yet, which is part of some of our Imagine announcements. So look forward to that update as well. All right, thank you all so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful evening, start of day. So excited to see you all join us across the globe and look forward to seeing you guys again soon.
Thank you all for the enthusiastic participation, and thank you, Allison.
Yeah, thank you guys. All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and end today's session. I'll chat with you all soon.